All right, we got a bunch of stuff from GKTECH for the G. We got a short throw shifter in here, 33% shorter. We got AERO mirrors. I'm about to put those on right now. New power steering rack, like the power steering bushings, all solid. Power steering filter, why not? Brand new lower control arm, the V2 version. Power steering cooler. I just have valve cover gaskets from a different G35 sedan I bought, and it just came with brand new ones, so I still got those. I also got inner tie rods, and solid bushings. Here's a solid transmission mount, or poly. I know I got some other stuff, but that's all I can think of right now. So I'm about to pull the mirrors off of the G over here. Here's the AERO mirror on the car. Here's comparison. Here it is from the driver's seat. Comparison. Also, the bolt holes do not line up at all. Like, you're gonna have to drill your own holes. Here's like the outside. Just threw some random bolts in there. Had to drill one hole for that gold one. And then I put just threw some gasket maker on the hole so I'm not getting a bunch of air noise on the freeway. But yeah, AERO mirror install, easy. Still gotta do the other one. All right, we're getting down and dirty on the G35 today. I got the front of the car off the ground. We're doing power steering rack today, lower control arm, and we're removing the front subframe because we're doing a power steering rack relocation. So I'm gonna be pulling that out, cutting it, and then I'm gonna be taking it to my boy to get it welded. We got everything over here on the shelf though, ready for the G35. We got the lower control arm, new power steering cooler, new rack, power steering filter so we don't get any BS back into the power steering fluid that's going to be running through this. We got solid rack bushings, that's a poly transmission mount we're going to be doing also. We got extended inner tie rods, so we're going to be removing these stock ones from the new rack and be putting these ones on. And we also got the rack relocation tucked down in there with all the instructions right there. Definitely don't lose those. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, we're gonna get down on this today, and the car is gonna be ripping after. So I'm gonna start by taking the front wheels off, and then we're gonna loosen the outer tie rod and be able to get that off the rack once we pull that off. But loosen the outer tie rod, kind of get that pulled off so we can get the rack out. And then I'm doing the lower control arm also, so we could just disconnect lower control arm on the inside also. All right, we got the wheels off. Now we're gonna come in here and loosen this inner bolt. Just get a crescent wrench on here and on the nut and break it loose. All right, now just thread the outer tie rod out. All right, just do this on both sides. Then you'll be good to go. These things were having fun up front. This thing's cooked. It's all the way through the threads. Luckily I got more. All right, this step is gonna be different on sedan and coupe. For sedan, you just have these outer brackets with 3 bolts. 214 right here, and then a 19. Then there's another one on the other side. For the coupe, this bracket extends out to the front, and there's 2 more bolts up here somewhere that we don't have to do on the sedan. So I'm gonna get these 3 bolts out on each side. Then we're gonna disconnect the power steering lines up here, these 2. If you're only doing power steering rack, no need to remove this bracket. Just keep going on with these next steps. But if you're doing lower control arm, you gotta take this bracket off for upgraded one, because this caster arm comes out also, and it's a 1-piece. All right, now caster arm should just slide out. Boom. This caster bolt's a 19. caster arm removed. Super easy. All right, we're gonna come way in here. And you see that 10mm bolt sticking out right here. We're gonna take that out so we can get some movement on this line, because it's kind of hard to get off. Probably replace this line because it's so dry rotted also. We got the 10mm bolt out. It's not that one, but it's right in front of it. There's a little bracket. I'm back to getting this line off. This is actually 17mm. Perfect time to take a break. Get some lunch, water, whatever. Let this drain and we'll come back to it. All right, next, we're gonna do this 12mm bolt for the steering rack. Just take that all the way out. And then make sure your steering wheel's straight. I just got a bungee cord on here so it's not moving anywhere. Make sure it's straight. All right, once you get all the lines drained, you got these two 17mm bolts, one here, that top one, and the other side there's two 14mm. All right, take those 17 and 14mm bolts out, and we got the rack dropped. You just gotta get off the spline. Make sure your wheel's straight before you take it off. Should be good. All right, now we're gonna get the subframe pulled out. All right, now two 19mm bolts on each side of the lower control arm. And then we'll probably have to take the shock and the end link out right now so we can get the subframe dropped out. All right, 17mm, took that out first, and then 17 on each side of the shock, and then everything's gonna drop down. So have a jack stand ready under. I didn't, and I just broke my back. So this line was super stretched. Yeah, all right. We're gonna do the other side, then get the rack pulled out, or get the subframe pulled out. I got the motor jacked up from the oil pan, and then I got a jack back here, which I would not recommend. You can totally crush the oil pan doing this. I go to Harbor Freight and get that $80 tool that goes across here, holds the engine from the top. It's called an engine cradle, or whatever you want to call it. So now I'm gonna take these four 19mm bolts off. This one back here, and then two on the other side. Drop the subframe. Once I get the subframe dropped, I'm gonna put some jack stands like under here, kind of back behind the oil pan, just to be safe while it's sitting here for like a day or two. Got the subframe pulled out. Now, gotta take this to my boy. We're gonna cut it up, weld the rack relocation on, show y'all how to do that too. Then we're gonna throw everything back together. New lower control arm. That's gonna replace the lower control arm now, plus the caster arm. So that's going bye-bye. And then still gotta pull these off. And then there's these little shims on the inside. You're gonna have to get like a clamp tool from, I don't know, rent a tool from AutoZone. But get these pulled off so you can put it onto the upgraded lower. We got the jack stand under there, just in case this goes down overnight. So that's going to be supporting the engine. We also got another jack stand there, kind of in between the engine and transmission, where it bolts, where it mates to, and should be good. All right, here's my super ghetto press setup to get the stock bushings out, to get these solid rack bushings in. Just a big socket on one side, smaller socket on the other side, to push the metal piece in the middle, and then we'll kind of push the rubber through as well. See, it just went through right there. Should be pretty easy to get through or out after that. All right, you'll have something like this. You'll just be able to pull it out with like some pliers. All right, we got the other side out. Just grab some pliers. Pull this out, throw these to the side. I don't know, you might need them sometime. Brand new, so. All right, you're gonna have two different style bushings for the front and back. These are gonna be for the back. They got that little extra piece on top. The front ones will just be flat on top, and they'll just have the piece that slides into there. I'm just using a big C-clamp to get these back into, or get the solid bushings into the rack. That wasn't working. It started going in sideways, so that's gonna be real fun to try and get that one in. But getting this one in, we'll flip to the other side. I just got a socket on this side, so it has somewhere to sit. Okay, so yesterday I was only able to get one of the bushings in. Today I left these in the freezer overnight. Got all our solid bushings pressed in, and I put them in the wrong way. There's no way. I had to take the bushings back out, which was horrible. I had to put a flat head in there and smack them out, but we got them in the correct way. Flat side here, and then these have like the little nipples. What about what? No gaps, no nothing. Just gotta make one last cut for the left-hand drive.
We have to get this exam.
Here it is. Rack relocation plate welded in. Shout out to my boy Anthony. Shout out to my boy TJ. I'm gonna clean this thing off right now and get it painted so it's not rusting. And then we're gonna throw this in the car with the new rack. The OEM motor mounts are so hard to get off. You gotta get them from the bottom. I had to cut a 14 millimeter wrench so it can fit up on top bolt up here, and so it can clear the chassis. Super cool. So I've got to drop these, put the new GKTECH solid mounts in. You got to torque these threads. Top one 24 foot-pounds, bottom one 50 foot-pounds, and then the bottom nut 65 foot-pounds, top nut 38 foot-pounds. So I'm about to throw thread lock around all this, as you can see. Throw this back together. Now we're gonna throw the upgraded GKTECH motor mount in there with the heat shield around it. It is poly, so it is metal on the outside, but poly on the inside. Probably not for everyone. Probably throw a lot more vibrations through the car, but we're drifting this car. It has the black bushings in there right now. It does come with the red ones that are softer. We're going with this for sure. Nice, now I got two cut up wrenches. I had to cut up a 17 now to get the new one in because the bolt's a different size. Poly motor mounts installed. Sick. 33 foot-pounds for the top bolt. I'm here in the passenger fender well. Tools galore. We finally got the motor mount out. Look at this freaking bolt. So bad. And there's only this little space to work in. The wrench is right here and the bolt goes to where the bottom of my finger is. You can't really get a socket or anything in there because the header's right there. And then the chassis is right here. So I waited a couple days. I had to order this tool from Amazon. Capri, it's just a 14. But it's for rounded bolts. As you can see, it has those splines or whatever you want to call it on there. It just grabs the bolt better. This thing is absolutely cooked. And this motor mount is cooked. All right, we got the subframe back in, poly motor mounts. Got to torque everything, throw the boots on. Get this outer connected. I got to cut the inner. I got to hook up these two power steering lines, or the steering rack to the steering wheel splines, which are right here. Not much more, but finally got this in. That was a mission. Got the steering shaft extender onto the steering column side. As described on GKTECH website, you're supposed to put it on this side. Got everything lined up. Also, if you're doing the poly mounts, keep the bottom threads out until you get these in. Keep the subframe bolts a little bit loose so it has some wiggle room, and then throw these in. I'm about to throw the control arms on, got both sides, got them extended to how I want. Probably do adjustments when I get them on the car, but got them even, both of them for right now. We got the lower control arm on the driver's side installed. We got it adjusted all the way out right now, so it has the most camber possible. I think I'm gonna finish the other side tomorrow and get it on the ground, because I still gotta throw the lower on the other side, but I think that's really about it. And then we get to work. I gotta fill the power steering reservoir back up with fluid and bleed the power steering. First of all, I got the upgraded power steering cooler, so I'm gonna do that first. This looks sick. We got the lowers installed, everything torqued down, both sides, got the power steering rack in. Now, I centered the steering rack also. We're gonna make these somewhat straight and cut these inner tie rods to length. So to cut the tie rods, make the wheel pretty straight with the fender, put the nut onto the inner tie rod, thread it all the way back. And then we're kind of gonna want the tie rod with the most threads, so like right here, kind of on the back of this lip. I just got the subframe, or the, whatever you want to call it, subframe for the transmission out. But I put the solid mount in. This one would not come out, so I kind of had to pull everything out. Just 4 bolts though, pretty easy. Jack up the transmission and put a jack stand under there. I got the car on the ground. I think we're running like 7-8 degrees of camber up front right now. I still got to mess with the alignment before we hit the alignment shop. Get on the rack. It's slammed in the front right now. Damn near tucking tire. So good. Camera cut out. Like I was saying though, we're like tucking tire in the front down near, not settled. So we're gonna have to raise the front. We got the car raised way better. Doing power steering cooler today on the G35. It all drained out since I just did a new rack and angle kit in the front. Pop these 2 clips up. If you got the 05, 06 car, this is gonna be easy for you. Take this grill out, get up in here, 2 clips. If not, you're gonna have to take the bumper off. 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter right there. The other mount is actually that bolt right there. So you got this thing loose now. From the top right here through the grill to get that top one. Take this bolt off, this bracket, and then you're just gonna slide these up once everything's loose. These 21-year-old lines are not easy to get off. Let me tell you, I was really close to cutting them. Might still cut the other one if it doesn't come off. In the hole drilled right now for the whatchamacallit. Make sure you don't hit the frickin' radiator condenser. All right, you're gonna throw your rivet in there. They'll give you this little tool. All right, you're gonna wanna get an Allen key, put it on this side, 17 on this side, tighten the rivet down to the car. Filling up the power steering cooler right now with some fluid. We got the G35 power steering cooler all finished up. So this farther line is gonna go to this closer hard line right here, and then the closer line on the cooler the left side on the passenger side is gonna go to the I'm gonna hop in the car right now, turn the wheel side to side, and then get the car turned on, bleed everything. I got it filled all the way up right now, and then once we bleed it, we can come back out here and fill it, top it off. And that's how you do a power steering cooler.
up on me, I ain't taking no photo. Ducking for 12, cause we chopping well. These niggas say that they working, but we put the grams on the scale. I bought my bitch some designer.